What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers, and helping me talk about the team needs for the Miami Dolphins in this upcoming 2024 NFL Draft, helping me break it down and dissect the Miami Dolphins, is my guy over from FirstRoundMock.com, Mr. William Yanish III. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Logan. How about yourself, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Let's talk about these Dolphins. Let's get right into it. And I know before we get over here, you said you had a page on them, so go ahead and
I got a page,
get your
man.
thoughts out, man. What do you think about these Dolphins? They currently have 6 picks into this upcoming draft. What are some issues you think they need to address?
Their first two picks, they absolutely have to nail. They those are there's only two in the top 157,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and Mike McDaniel's is a coach, that I love. He's innovative. He's a Colorado boy. He's just everything. He's like Shanahan's step kid.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But this team right now, they have so much talent and so much speed on offense. I called, Devin Achan, last year. I said he was going to be, a second round pick. And I mean, he blew up when he got into the league. I mean, just every time he touched the ball is something. And they have a stable of running backs like that with Raheem Mostert, and what's his name, Jeff from San Francisco. But anyway, no, man, I'm just going to come out and say this about the Dolphins. If they don't get some kind of defense going, McDaniels is going to lose his team. It's as simple as that. I mean, he has a talented offense, but they need something to hang. They need something to get a few points off the board, when they're going up against, some of these, good teams, because it's just how it is. They signed 7 defensive tackles. 7.
Yeah.
A few of them aren't going to make the team. I mean, that's just how numbers go. But, their third round choice was stripped for, tampering.
Yep.
The fourth round was part of the Bradley Chubb trade. That's a pretty decent trade. Like their Tyreek Hill. I mean, what they got out of the Trey Lance thing from San Francisco was, crazy. I mean, they got 3 franchise, cornerstone players and then a draft pick or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I was the worst trade in history, but obviously, good. But these guys, I mean, they've got some other problems and they need to absolutely nail it. I mean, they signed Jordan Poyer, Shaquille Barrett, Jordan Brooks, Kendall Fuller, he's a slot, receiver. They lost, Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle. They lost Brandon Jones. They lost edge rusher Andrew Van Ginkel. They lost guard Robert Hunt. They signed a couple of guards, and like I said, they have to get something going. And unless there is something that is absolutely outstanding on the board, some choice that, I mean, is then, they can do something else. But they have to go defense and they have to get it together. I mean, McDaniels has to put some pressure on his defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver. I mean, because of what they got and lack of picks, but still some talent back. I don't know what else to say, man. I mean, they're good, but
yeah, they're good, but are they great?
Yeah.
You've seen that they've gotten better since McDaniel took over. That's for sure. That's no questions about that. But they've made some questionable moves, as you mentioned. They've offloaded some pieces. I understand money might be an issue, but still, though, if I'm going all in, though, I'm eating that cap. I'm doing whatever I can to try and get a championship. And when you look at this team in their current state, and when you also look at the division that they're in the AFC East, you've got teams like the Patriots who aren't at their peak, but are trying to get better day by day. You've got teams like the Bills who have, in a sense, kind of been running this division for the past couple of years, really been doing a good job in Buffalo. And you also have the Jets, who their season kind of got, squashed last year with Aaron Rodgers going down. So we never saw their full potential. But Aaron Rodgers is back. He's going to be healthy. So we'll see how much better they can improve on their team. But getting back to Miami, some just places that they need to strengthen, that they need to get better with, is you got to get better offensive linemen. It's been said for years, you got to protect your quarterback in Tua. We see him get hit a lot. We see him go down a lot. We see him get injured a lot. Can't have that. Got to go with a draft. You got to get an offensive lineman, maybe with that first round pick to help out. Up next, you really need to help also mostly on your defense. Your offense is pretty much set, but I would do a little bit more defense heavy draft. Really help out with your back end. I know, as you mentioned, they signed Jordan Poirier. Help out. You can always never be too sure on your safeties, especially with those later round picks. We're going to see a lot of guys on defense drop. You also can maybe go in there and snag a receiver if you need to help out and just get more options for Tua to throw to. Because Tyreek Hill is obviously a great receiver. We know that, but they're going to lock in on him, and you got to have another sustainable option at your at your wide receiver spot. So I think that overall, when you look at this Dolphins team, they are a solid team. They don't need a whole lot, but they do need to, I would say, get an edge rusher, get someone there on the D line, help out your O line. Once you shore those up, I think this team is looking pretty solid already. And who knows, free agency is still out there. There's still a lot of guys out there who are unsigned they could pick up coming into training camp to help bolster that team. But, William, do you have any final words you'd like to say about these Dolphins before we get out of here today?
Like you mentioned, about the wide receivers. If there's somebody there, Waddle, he's good, but he's still light and fast. They kind of forgot, Mike McDaniels kind of forgot, his tight end the last few years. He had Gesicki, but he ended up in New England. Now they've got some kind of drama going, but that's neither here nor there. But like I said, if there is a shiny piece sitting there, if somebody falls, they can go ahead and grab it, and then go over to free agency like they've done, and maybe dig up another linebacker some more and back into that defense. They're ready to go, but they just need to take that extra step. Yeah, that's it. No doubt. And I believe, like I said, the tight end with the mismatches, that might change some things. A playmaking wide receiver that might, help out to push it over the top. They have to decide, Tua about got killed, 2 years ago. And they have to have a backup option. I do like Skylar Thompson. They've signed a couple other guys. I don't know, man. They're ready to go, but they just need to take that leap somewhere.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of holes in their team, but there's always things you can shore up, and that's what we've been talking about here today. Mr. Yanish, I appreciate you, man, coming on the show, talking about these draft needs, these team needs for the Miami Dolphins. I've been your host and producer, Logan Landers. If you guys want to see who the Dolphins will select with their first-round pick, check us out on Thursday, April 25th, live at 7:30 Eastern. We're going to be doing a live draft coverage. So getting our reactions, our thoughts. Did they pick the right person? Did they go with a reach? We'll see what happens. Also, before we get out of here, we got some comments from Mr. Turner coming in saying, Dolphins, you need a defensive tackle. That's for sure. That's what we're saying. You got to shore up that D-line. And also he said maybe a new receiver to go with Mr. Hill. Yeah, we know Tyreek's an absolute monster, but you got to have more than one option if you want to be successful in the NFL. Well, once again, for Mr. Yanish, I've been your host, producer, Logan Landers. Guys, if you enjoyed the episode, like, follow, share, and subscribe. We'll talk to you on another.